Hi everybody and welcome back to Epic Specials, and on today's episode I'm going to be telling you all about this dusty old relic behind me. Now this car is nicknamed the Assassin. I've owned this car since I was 17 years old. Now I'm 31 now, so do the maths. It was my first car. It was owned by my grandma. She bought it brand new and she gave it to me when I was 17 when I first passed my driving test. It was my daily driver for about 6 to 7 years. And over that time it had a lot of changes, and this video is showing you the evolution of the Assassin. So let's go back to the beginning and see how it all started. So this is actually the oldest picture I've got of the Assassin, but even at this point I'd already started modifying it. So it's already got a set of Watanabe alloy wheels, and I'd relocated the number plate. At 17, I thought this was a dog's bollocks and it looked ace. Shortly after this, typical 17-year-old, I had my first crash, so I ended up putting a new front end on the car from the local scrapyard. So I noticed the black bumper, black grille and nice new dent in the bonnet. I had many adventures in this car, one of them being off-roading. As you can see, it didn't go very well. You also notice a few changes to the car: black tint headlights, square plate, typical things, just modifying as I go along. It was at this point I decided the car needed a serious change, and I very much wanted to do something that no one else had done before, so I went along the rat look route. But back in 2007, nobody else was doing this to anything other than a Volkswagen. I started off with what is the staple of now rat look, with NATO green and hazard stripes. I then crashed it again, repaired it again, and it slowly started to take shape, changing various things. I was pretty much doing stuff on a daily basis at this point, and every week it would look different. I took it drag racing. This was good fun. Did a 17.7 second quarter mile, which isn't bad considering I had a full roof rack and it's not a race car. As time went on, I just added more and more to the car in typical rat look fashion. I thought it looked excellent at the time. I let the pictures do the talking. You can see what's going on. These photos are from the very first ratlook.com meet back in 2009, so we've actually already jumped forwards 2 years since I first got the car. You can see the wheels have changed. They were Corolla GTI 16 valve wheels that I polished up. This was before the stancy pants days. A bit of general maintenance to keep the old girl on the road. I had installed a flamethrower kit, and this is a Fast Car magazine photograph of me toasting some buns. Never miss an opportunity to park next to a standard car and take a picture. All decorated for Christmas. Then we had some snow, got stuck in the snow. Now this is the beginning of the Bosuzuku influence. So, front mount oil cooler, some plastic arches with wheels that don't fit. But I'd started to see the Bosuzuku style and really enjoyed it, so this is why I started putting influences on the car. This is my first set of wide wheels, 13 by 8 Weller Steels. These looked awesome, and I was really happy with the look of the car at this time, but it turned out that these wheels were buckled and unusable in the end, which was a shame, so they had to go. But it turned out for the best, because I got the alley cats. So these are 13 by 8 ET0 original 4x100 alley cats, and I've had these wheels 10 years now, and I still absolutely adore them. I've got them on my daily driver, and I think they look mint. This was a cool look back in the day. And then I blew up the original engine. So I sat here on the side of the M5 waiting for rescue. And the first of many gravel driveway rebuilds. So I'd actually melted a valve, but it overheated and seized the block as well. So off to the scrappy for a new engine, cheeky 16 valve conversion at the same time, and she lived again. Got a couple of little pictures in some car mags. and the joys of daily driving a slammed car, ruined some. So, quick repair job on that. And then it was MOT time, so jacked up 4x4 mode, because I didn't have a friendly MOT tester. Cheeky shot next to a standard car, you can never miss an opportunity to get a picture like that. And then I decided to splash the cash and bought my first set of real coilovers. Up until this point I was running on chopped springs, but the coilovers didn't go low enough, so I bought short springs for them to get her properly down on the floor. And as you can see, mega slammed. This came with a consequence. Smashed my gearbox on a cat's eye. Ah, bugger. So, another gravel driveway rebuild, and this was gearbox number 1 out. Did an engine raise at the same time, so this is cutting and chopping the engine mounts, lifting it up about an inch, but it made all the difference. So, didn't use to clamp the cat's eyes anymore. All of the lows, but plenty of clearance underneath the engine. A very appropriate sticker, but it actually ended up about 6-0 to the cat's eyes. And the very first Epic Specialz logo, this was hand drawn on the back window with a paint pen, and this is where it all started. Here was gearbox number 3 or 4, smashed that one. Another gravel drive rebuild. Custom shortened drive shafts, because the engine raise caused the CV joints to rub on the inside. You know you're low when you're wearing out your bottom arms. There, more gravel driveway work. I think this was gearbox number 6, not massive damage, but still had to replace it. The old Z breathing life into the old girl. Notice the roof rack's now gone for a cleaner look, and I've also lost the plastic arches at some point back there. And that was it, that was the end of rack look days. And now this is the beginning of the overhaul for the first Bosuzuku style of the car. So it started with a lot of rust repair, because it had been my daily driver and there was a lot of rot going on. Poor old thing. So R32 rear lights and some 50mm spacers. Lots of poke. My original rendering of what I wanted the car to look like. Seam welded the entire floor of the car and the chassis to make it as strong as possible, because I intended to slide this over everything. It wasn't being lifted up. Fuel and brake lines run inside the car, so they can't get damaged, obviously. Cutting out the rear arches so I could actually get the car to sit level and not have the rake anymore. And with the back wound down to match the front, less than 5p lows. You're not low unless you can rest a 5p against your chassis rail. Straightening out all the previous crash damage with a new slam panel, new bonnet. Making up the first upswept exhaust. And then onto the long nose conversion. Making a ducktail. R32 light trimmed and fitted. Both R32 lights in. Smoothed off the rear plate recess. making the side skirts, making the front lip, cardboard template for the front arches, the same for the rear arches, it became apparent that the car was too low, so instead of raising it, I sectioned the chassis rails and took about 15mm out of them. Last bit of arch work. Then that was the kit finished. Finishing touches, boxing in the side skirts, making little end pieces for the ducktail, and then employing friends to work for free to fill, sand, paint prep and paint the car in one day. This was an epic day and we got it done. It was absolutely terrible finish, but at the time that's what I wanted. I wasn't going for anything flash, I just wanted it NATO green and all in one piece and all in one colour. So the car stayed like this for about a year. I took it to all the shows I could do, had a great time, great experiences with friends, and just enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't mint, it wasn't pretty, but it sure as hell was different. And that's what I wanted. It wasn't full Bosuzuku, but it had the influences there. Another comparison pick against my old car, Grandad. So that car was lowered, but as you can see the Assassin is a damn sight lower. I liked putting things on the roof, because it's cool to put things on your roof, isn't it? And no Bosuzuku car is complete without a funky interior. fabricated, so now it was time to blend it, make it all smooth and make it actually look like car parts and not bits of wood. They had the alley caps professionally refurbished at this point. Lots and lots and lots and lots of bodywork. I hate bodywork. This was so tedious. I spent weeks doing this, just trying to get filler smooth and make things look right, because this was going to be the first time the car was going to be painted shiny. So I didn't want it to be all ripply and look terrible when the sun came out. Isolator coat. First coat of filler primer, then it was flatted back. These are the colours I chose. Black and white photos because I didn't want to reveal the colour at the time, so that's the base coat down. Masking off the graphics. Second colour base coat down. Unveiling the graphics. This was my first teaser shot. You can see the lovely gold pearl in there. And this was completed. This was the latest style of the Assassin, and it hasn't changed since. Now, I was over the moon with how this came out, considering I painted this in a dusty old unit by myself, and I'm not a painter. I was so pleased with it. I got a decent magazine feature. Got stuck at retro rides, and then my rear wang exploded on the way to Japfest. So I had to remake my rear wang, and I made it a lot stronger this time. The old one now hangs on my wall as a bit of a memorial. So this is painting up the new rear wang. Colour-coded victory pipes now as well. This is from a retro show, I can't remember what year. This is Retro Rides. Noticed I had moved the front number plate because I hadn't changed this car. This is probably now 2 years after I first finished this. This is an MOT. This is an Ultimate Stance. I actually won a prize at Ultimate Stance. This is messing around with ideas that never came to anything in the end. Number plate went back in the normal position because I decided it looked better. The skid plates still doing their job. Repaired them again. This is another retro show where I was balling and actually took 3 of my own cars to the show. This is another MOT, so that's a year gone by. And this is where I decided that I wanted to have some banded steels. So I bought some K11 micro steels that were 5" wide originally. This is doing measurements to work out what I could get away with. Hover mode. So tyres off and packing up the original steels to send off. This is exciting times when they'd return from the banding place. Epic 10Js, so 14 by 10 ET unknown because I've never worked it out. Back garden spray job. Featuring Ted the Cat. There, all painted, looking lovely. Fitted some now discontinued 225 40 14s, Toyo Proxies. These are such a good looking car. I'll be gutted when they wear out because you can't get them anymore. Did I say car? I meant tyre. And that's it, that is the latest look with the banded steels fitted. This is how the car looks to the present day. Apart from it's in a lot worse condition now because these pictures are probably from 18 months ago. and unfortunately the car's just deteriorated where it had to live outside. Parking in public again. Parking outside someone else's house. This isn't my house. More car park shots. Japfest 2019. Actually made it this time, rear wang didn't explode. Another MOT. And then I got married to my beautiful wife and we used both my cars as the wedding car. Looking cool outside the church. And then it got parked on the drive and neglected. It sat there for about 6 months and it just turned to crap, unfortunately. And then this was bringing the car to work and putting it in my storage area. Then lots of people have asked how we got it up there, and this is how, with a forklift. Up she goes. This was scary times, but we got it up there, no problems, no damage happened, and it's where she's sat ever since. So that is the story of the Assassin, from when I first got it until present day. So that's it, the evolution of the Assassin. 14 years, 4 different looks, lots and lots and lots of work, and now I'm about to start again. Please join me next time where work will commence on its new look, and I'm not going to give it away because I don't even know what it's going to be yet. So please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again next time. Cheers.